Hi, and good evening. Thank you for tuning in once again for my new series on my YouTube channel, Harvey's Personal Ghost Stories. Thank you for watching the very first one, and again, thank you to all my wonderful subscribers, who have been phenomenal in supporting me. And I just wanted to do a little bit more sharing because I've had many people ask about more of my experiences. So I'm just going to start from my earliest memory, which is around 4 years of age. I've been told that that's ludicrous and that's just imagined. Children don't remember. Nobody can remember back to that tender age of 4. But a lot of my memories are still very vivid, and I'm 53 years old. Tonight's story takes place in the year 1966. I was 4 years old. We were living just outside of Independence, Iowa, on an old county road, really close to the old county home. The county home was a place, at least in the Midwest, to where people, who couldn't afford anything, had nothing to their name, poor farm, whatever you want to call it, would end up, would be a place for them to at least subsist. And the county would take care of them. Anyways, that's another story, but this story, we lived in a very small farmhouse. I have no idea how old the house was. All I know was it was pretty old when we moved into it. One of my first memories of the place was that, although it was very tiny, we had this huge yard, and we actually shared like a common yard or a pasture between our house and the next house, which was a old farm home, Midwestern farmhouse, and we had good friends called the Westermeyers lived there. They had all their kids, and anyways, so I at least had neighbors, and they were probably, I don't know, 100 yards apart from us. But anyways, it's ironic. My last name is Althaus, and translated from German, it means old house. And every house I've ever lived in since then, even this house that I'm living in right now, is almost 100 years old. It'll be celebrating its 100-year anniversary in the year 2018. So that's coming up. But anyways, it just seems like every house I've ever lived in, from the time I was a kid to now, all of them have been old houses. Kind of ironic, but I think that's my fate in life. But anyways, I'm not quite sure if this categorizes a ghost story per se, but it was definitely an experience. And I don't remember moving to this house, but I do remember, being in the house and playing with our neighbors next door and watching Wizard of Oz in black and white. When all our friends, even everybody else had color TVs, we saw the black and white one. But like I said, I was 4.5. I haven't even started, school yet. I didn't have preschool, at least back in those days. And it was my mother and my father, the same mother who was from the first story that I shared, who passed away when she was 36. 2 older sisters and a younger sister at the time. So there was 4 kids and my mother and father. I remember the house being very small. Now, I know my mother and father had a bedroom, and then there was a small kitchen, and there was a fairly large, I guess you'd call a living room / dining room, and then there was a bedroom by the bathroom, and then there was a small, it was almost like a closet almost, but it had windows, and that was my room. And then we had a bathroom. But I don't ever remember sleeping in that room by myself, or being in that room long by myself, alone, because I remember weird things happening there. This is Iowa, and I know for a fact, that they don't experience earthquakes on a nightly basis, at least enough to shake my bed and my bed only. I remember having my blankets pulled off me, my pillow pulled off from underneath my head, hearing my name all the time, sounding like another child was saying my name, and I used to think it was my sister. So what ended up happening was I didn't sleep in that room very often by myself, but I did crawl in bed with my older sisters who were out in the adjacent room, which would have been the dining room. I don't know, but there was their bed there, and they all slept together in bed, and I remember sleeping between them all the time. One thing that used to get me, and I don't know why, but I always woke up in the middle of the night, and I have no reason, but I know I was sleeping with my sisters, and I know it was between my two oldest sisters, and my mother and father were asleep. Nobody else was up, and although the kitchen light was on, that was the only light that was, on. I don't remember having a yard light, although it was like a farm. Most farms had a yard light, but I don't remember us having one. Anyways, so it was pretty dark, except for the low light coming from the kitchen. And my view, as I looked and as I remember, I would look to my left, and I would see into our living room where we had a couch and a chair and our television was, and the bathroom was just between where I was and where the living room was. And there was a bathroom, and there was this small wall that came out from, I guess you'd want to call it the hall. I don't know why I was even there. But on many numerous occasions, I remember hearing my name being called, and it was just like this. It'd go, Harvey. And, I'm a little kid. I wake up, I'm looking around, I'm looking down at my sisters and seeing if it was them playing a joke on me or whatever. But then I would hear it again, and I know I'm awake, and I'd hear, Harvey. And then I'd look in the direction to where I was coming from. And I was ice cold, and I was frozen looking in that direction, and it was the direction of the bathroom. And what I saw, I didn't know what to think, but all I saw was a small hand, like a child's hand, that come out from behind that partition wall, and it just was going like this to me. I remember the finger doing this, in my direction. It was like going like this. There was no words being said, nothing. And then I would look away, and I would look up, and the hand would be gone. And then I remember putting my head down between my sisters and then looking up again, and then the hand's doing this again. And at one point, I remember seeing the hand, and it was saying, come with me. Seeing this hand doing this. Well, okay, I'm 4. I'm freaked out. I let out a blood-curdling yell. My sisters wake up. My mom and dad come running. They're like, what the hell is that? Trying to explain to them what I saw, and I'm pointing, and the bathroom, and everybody was accounted for, and it was my little sister. She was with my mother and father in their room, and I was trying to tell people that there's somebody in the house, and it's a child, and no one believed me. Well, I remember that happened on several occasions, not every night, but it happened enough to where I didn't sleep very much. And although my mom wanted me to be in my own room, I remember I would go in and I would have to shut the door, but I didn't shut it all the way. And I remember holding on to the door handle with a blanket over me, just waiting for my parents' light to go off so I could sneak out and be with my sisters. And because some of the weirdest things would happen in that room at night. Now, mind you, like I said, I wished I had a picture of this house, and I wished, and I don't even know if it's still there, but the room was really narrow. I want to say less than 8 feet wide, but it was long. Maybe it was like 14 feet long. So it was long and narrow. And I remember it had up on this wall, the entire wall, it seemed like, were windows, with a window that had 4 or 5 window panes, and I can't tell you how many times I heard, they were pretty high up as I recall. I mean, they were, I don't know, 8 feet up on the wall. I don't know. But hearing a scratching noise on them, like someone going, just imagine in your mind somebody raking their fingers down the glass. And once in a while I hear like a little tapping, like, something, hello, Yeah. So that scared the bejesus out of me. So things like that is what I remember most profoundly when I was 4 years old. Like I said, I'm 53, and it has stayed with me. And I've never been able to figure it out. And we moved. I don't even remember moving from that place. I don't remember moving there, and I don't remember moving away from it. It's like I fell asleep, in this other place. But what we did was, I don't remember moving, but the next house was really, really jumping. And it was an old brownstone 2-story down by a local river called the Wapsipinicon. And that, my friends, I will share with you next time on Harvey's personal ghost experiences and stories. Good night. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends. Please subscribe. Good night.